Ajatha Santi Tasatta Parachakka Chatika Te Se Tu Dhammang Anukam Pimang Pachang. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So I was thinking, originally wasn't going to give a talk, but I thought, well, there's a few people coming here who are new, who may not know much about the history or the background regarding a Katina ceremony. Because for traditional Buddhists, the Katina ceremony has this kind of very important kind of aura around it. It's it's the end of the rains retreat. There's only one Katina ceremony, so there's a bit of kind of woo around it, wuju around it. Oh, Katina, Katina. But so I can explain a little bit. It started out obviously from the Buddhist time, that during when the Buddha was living in India 2,500 years ago, he did a lot of wandering around the country, and at the time there were a lot of monks walking around. And so during the monsoon season, which is around July, actually the farm will start planting. But if the monks are walking around, hundreds of them, sometimes they walk through people's field and trample the crops. And some of the lay people started to bring that to the attention of the Buddha. So then he said, well, yeah, during the monsoon season where the lay people are busy planting the field, it's good if the monks stay in one place for 3 months, just out of practicality. But then from there, you evolved to, okay, since I stay in one place, let's focus on the formal meditation, the formal practice of meditating. And then it's evolved now during the rain retreat, we call it the rainy season, because in India at the time, it's the rainy season, so that's where the rains retreat, the name comes from. And at the end of the 3 months, the monks start to travel again. And during the time of India, during that time, cloth was very expensive, because you have to make it by hand and you have to wove it through the cottons. So cloth was super expensive. And so in offering the cloth at the end of the rainy season retreat is a major deal. Because once the monks need it to walk around, and two, to come up with enough kind of resources to offer the cloth is kind of a major donation, a major gift to the Sangha. But also celebrates the harmony, the kind of symbiotic relationship between the lay community and the monks. Right? So sometimes we think of monastery and we picture big, great meditation halls. We picture a physical place as a monastery. But really, a monastery, it's really about the relationship between the lay people and the monks, really. So the monastery is monks here, but also, importantly, the other half of the equation. There will be no monks, no monastery without lay people. And vice versa, a lot of lay people, no monks, not a monastery either. So it's this kind of mutually beneficial relationship between the two groups of people that makes a monastery. And so the Katina is the time when people come to make offerings to the Sangha, the community of monks, usually at the end of the rains retreat, because then the monks starts to travel again, and the cloth is the kind of something very rare back at the time of the Buddha. These days, we don't change our robe, you'll probably be surprised, every year, and we get hundreds of robes. So now it's more of a formal ceremony, just the way to remind, and this is symbolic, right? And usually we choose one sponsor, but really, I should turn the camera around. you guys are all sponsors because you've been coming to the monastery, offering food, offering services, helping, fix things, helping paint things, offering food to the monks. And so in that respect, you've been, offering, practicing generosity all throughout the year, not just the Katina season. Yeah. So sometimes there's a lot of focus, attention on who's the sponsor. I don't want to be sponsored next year and this year. And as a forest monastery, we try to move away from that. So that's why we don't have a list. Sometimes, in Thailand, different places, the more important your monastery is, the longer the list. Oh, we have a 20-year waiting list for the Katina. That means, oh, you're a very important monastery, a big monk. But we try to move away from that. We say, well, no, we don't take waiting lists. Basically, you cannot request to be a donor either, a sponsor. We will, because it's not one person, we realize that it's everybody's effort really to keep a monastery going. So we pick a name usually every year as just a symbolic that, okay, this person represents all of you guys. And then there's one main person, but everybody can join in and offer whatever they can. So it's more of a group kind of effort. And then that's what it celebrates the spirit of Katina, which is communal harmony, which is, the generosity of learning to live and work with each other. That's the most important bit about the Katina, not who's to get the special, who hands the official cloth to the monk. Because sometimes there's a lot of, shall we say, focus, a lot of effort going on, who gets to offer this? I want to offer this, and I want to offer that. Yeah, but just remember that, we're here as a communal, and that is, everybody is offering different things to the monks, and there are different ways. That's not a lot of time it's just not material stuff. A lot of time it's, your time, your effort, coming to monastery, helping to fix things, driving monks around, different things. That all adds up to, a beautiful monastery. One that works well, one that's good for, that's generating benefits for all involved. Yeah, so that's kind of the background of the Katina ceremony, why we have, kind of something special every year. And people think, well, it's true in the books, the Buddha said there's one Katina ceremony, so you should make an effort to come and to participate. But really, it just means a robe offering, which means an offering. So anytime you come to a monastery, it could be a Katina. And a lot of the benefits, they say, Buddhists, in the merit of your action, it's not so much what you're offering, it's not so much who you're offering to and how you do it. It's really so much in the merit, it's in the heart. Yeah. So don't get caught up with, when to do it, how to do it, is it properly, and all this. It's, in your heart. Is it the heart of faith? Is it a heart of embracing? Yeah. Is it a heart of giving up? So don't have fixed ideas of, I want to offer this together and that thing together to the monk, and in this way. It's like, it's the heart that's the most important bit, not how you do it and how things, set up. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Because sometimes there's a bit of, sometimes friction of among different groups of, wanting to do a certain way. Yeah. So we try to come together. It's the giving, also, but the giving up of a sense of self. Yeah. So the most important bit is the purity of heart. That's important. Yeah. Because even this is more controversial, but even in the time of the Buddha, he said, in the future, there won't be any real practicing monastery left. There won't be any practicing monks left. There are just few people ordained, and they'll be wearing lay clothing, not even robes. And the only thing they know is it's just a little strip of cloth that's designated they're monks, but not really keeping the precept, living in a monastery, but kind of doing other stuff. This is when obviously Buddhism has just degenerated in some distant future, hopefully thousands and thousands of years away from here. But if a layperson comes to the monastery, and with that focus in mind that I'm offering this, not to a particular monk, not to that particular monk, but to the Sangha. And the Sangha is the Sangha of the four quarters. That means the Sangha of the past great monks, the present monks, but also the Sangha of any future monks and nuns who come and practice at this place, in the monastery. You receive the goodness from that. So even that, they say, make an offering to a bad monk who represents the Sangha. it's still more meritorious than offering to a fully enlightened beings. Some people say, oh, really? Some monks sit around smoking, watch TV all day long, and they still give more merit than offering to a fully enlightened. Because, I mean, the Buddha, in his deep wisdom, explained it this way. He says, obviously the great Arahant does a lot of benefit. He does a lot of good things. But his physical life is limited. He will pass away. And then when you focus on that personality, then, you're not going to continue keeping the monastery going, because your faith is in one monk, and if he goes away, you're not so interested. But you're offering to a monastery, to an institution, and fix your mind on that. This institution survives all of us here. In 50 years' time, we'll be gone, mostly. Well, maybe Tanya will be around, but all of us will be gone, definitely. In 100 years' time, we'll all be gone, definitely. Yeah. But there's still a monastery. There's still monks, and there's still lay people coming, offering, practicing. And if any offering you made today, tomorrow, yesterday, still will bring great benefits to yourself and others, because you're keeping this institution going that's generating a place for people to come and practice, place to cultivate wholesome states, place to realize Nibbana. And that's immeasurable. And that's why the Buddha has made that point, that if you're offering, as long as you're, it's the matter of the mind. So offering is not to a specific monks so much, but to an institution. This is to the Sangha, community of monks and nuns, practitioner. So, whatever offering you make, I'm offering this to the whole community, offering this to this institution that will keep on going, regardless who's around, which personality it is doing it, whether your favorite monks or not your favorite monks, it's doing it. You're keeping the institution going, and that's the beautiful thing, and that's where they said the result, the benefit is immeasurable, because it continues into the future, boundless. Yeah. So that's where kind of thinking about the effect of the giving. Yeah. And what was I going to say? Yeah. And this reflect on what's a monastery, because it's been interesting years. Most of you know, we had a bit of a fire back in December, and it allows me to kind of reflect. I was in the U.S. and obviously seeing this video of a building burning. It told me it was the Sangha house, but I realized that can't be the Sangha house. It's Ajahn Khemavaro. And then for 2 days we didn't know anything else. All we know is this, the same Channel 9 news that we get, that fire in the monastery. Few things, lots of things are burning. We don't quite know what exactly was burning, except that one structure. I'm like, oh. So I'm thinking, it's interesting to step back and say, what happens if the whole thing's burned down? What happens, and well, after a while we realized that the sala was here because that represents Buddhism. So a lot of effort was into the rural fire service to save the sala, because for them that is true. It's the monastery, it's about the sala. So I knew the sala was around, but I didn't know anything else was going to be there when I did come back. And I think, so what if everything is burned down? And then our monks are wonderful, but they're visitors. They're most likely going to go back to where they came from. And I'm stuck here by myself. Where I stay. Even then, I think, the monastery is not really the building, like I said before. It's you guys and the monks. And over the years, we have so much, kind of strong support, so much faith, that I realized, if I just pitch a tent, and over time, people will continue to come, and we'll generate back a monastery, because that's what it's about. It's about, the human relationship between the Sangha and the lay people. And as long as you have that, monastery can be anything, anywhere, and it really doesn't matter. And that's the beauty of a forest monastery. It doesn't take much to keep it going, and it's in terms of, and it's a beautiful place to generate, a place of peace, a place of clarity, a place of rest from the busy world that people kind of escape from. So it's a good kind of, and like I said, it's we always go back to the, all the chanting we do. Did we had help from, shall we say, our unseen friends from above? And I'm a believer, so you can convince them. Even there's a video showing that the helicopter put out all the fires in the kuti everywhere. I still think, well, who put the who helped the helicopter to be so mindful and put all the fires out? It brings me this story that I have to tell. The story is very similar. It's about a Catholic monk and the flood, right? Catholic monk lives in this beautiful monastery. There's a big flood coming. So they're trying to evacuate this area. They says, you got to go. Like, the big flood is coming, and that you might be, it's going to come. It's you might be in danger. He says, no, I have faith in the Lord. He's going to save me. He's going to save the church. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, okay. So they evacuate everybody else. Sure enough, time comes. The rain, starts pouring down. Water coming, and then so. He sits there and says, no, I have faith. I have faith in the Lord. He's going to come and save me. And I'm like, okay. So the rain continues day after day. It starts to raise up. And then he gets a knock on the door. Bang, bang, bang. It's like, who is it? Okay, there's the fire people. The rural fire service comes. Like, no, you got to go. It's really raining. It's forecast. It's going to do this for another 2 or 3 weeks. And the church is going to get flooded. And so you should leave now. He's like, no, I have faith. I'm good. So, okay, the fire guy goes away. It rains and rains and rains. And then it gets to the first floor. He's still sitting there. No, I have faith in the Lord. He's going to save me. He's going to save the church. He's going to save me. See what happens. So he gets to the first floor. He goes up to the second floor. Boat comes by. Please, Father, we're coming. Please leave. It's not going to stop. The ride is going to keep on rising. And they're going to be in danger. No, everyone's gone already. It's just you sitting here in this church, in this area. Please come with us. Leave the boat. Like, no. I have faith in the Lord. He's going to save me. Okay, thanks for the boat, though. So the boat leaves away. The rain continues day and night. It starts to raise. He goes all the way to the roof. So the father stands in the roof. The helicopter comes by. Please, Father, the rain is coming. You're not going to survive this. Can you swim? It's like, no, but I believe in the Lord. He's going to save me. He's going to come out and save me. It's like, okay. So the helicopter goes away. And the rain. And then it continues, doesn't stop. Father drowns. So then he goes up to heaven, of course, because he's a very good priest. He goes up to heaven. He sees God. He's like, I am so mad at you, God. I have so much faith in you. Why didn't you come down and save me? And God said, well, who do you think sent the car? Who do you think sent the boat? Who do you think sent the helicopter? So the idea is, yes, you can have faith in the above, but obviously common sense also dictate that. Obviously, in any kind of fire, you want to use common sense to protect yourself, protect the monastery, and not just go on faith alone. Right? So that's why I do believe that we do have help. In unseen beings, in the other angels and devas in the forest or beyond, and help with from Ajahn Tan and Lupo Big. But also, it doesn't mean that we cannot worry about putting in fire hoses and putting in generators and putting in fire pumps. Because that's just common sense. And people say, well, it's karma. Yeah, it's also karma. Your good karma of having a fire pump in place that puts out the fire. That's also karma, right? Karma doesn't mean like sitting here closing your eyes and say, oh yeah, I have good karma, it will protect everything. No, that's just irrational. Yeah, everything is karma. So karma is also putting in protection, also, cleaning the forest, doing fire burns and fire, and having an escape plan. Yeah, having fire gear, that's also karma, right? Yeah, so it's part of that. Yeah. But it's true. As we practice and we know that we can implement the safety measure, but there's no guarantee, and this is where you have to rely on the Dhamma. There's no safety in anything. Yeah. Sure, you can put it out there and plan, but that our wishes is not to find the arbiter of how things will turn out. Whether things turn out is based on lots of conditions coming together. You know, you're all being in the monastery at the moment. Yeah, you sure? Yeah, I determined to go to the monastery, get in my car, drive here. That's why I'm here. Sure, that's part of it, but the car's got to cooperate, right? You can have a flat tire along the way, and you can't make it to a monastery. Well, no matter what you decide, the tree can fall down, be in the way. You're also stuck. Yeah. So sure, our chaitana, our willpower gets the process started. But whether you get to the end, it's never a sure thing. And that's where the kind of the teaching of the Dhamma comes in, teaching of the Buddha comes in. That yes, things are uncertain. We can plan for things, but yeah, there's a big asterisk to our plans. But yeah, life gets in the way sometimes. People get in the way. Yeah. But knowing that, and that's why it's brings me back to the amazing blessings of having a monastery in the bush, a place for people just to come and practice, to cultivate wholesome states. And that's something that is not to be underestimated. Yeah. Because we live in such a world that's so frantic at times, so fast-paced, that's moving away from a bit of stillness, moving away sometimes a bit of decency and kindness, and to come to a place that's encouraged to be more gentle, to live in more harmony with each other, to be more thoughtful of the people around us. And that is a very rare thing. And it's a beautiful and a wonderful thing that sometimes we take it for granted because we come and everybody, is really focused. But, you just have to go to Sydney, go back to work, and you'll see, not everybody's moving in the same direction. Yeah, so it's good to have a place where we all support each other in the direction of peace and harmony, of kindness and gentleness. Yeah, and also forgiveness and letting go. And that's what we do, the forgiveness ceremony yesterday. Yes, even though our intention is to come here and to practice in peace and harmony, there are arguments, there are frictions, there are different ways to run the kitchen. I know your way is the best, but there are other people in there also have the same opinions, how their way is also the best way. But it's been, like I said, but also kind of bring this point up that, just trying to remind people it is, we come here to, in peace and harmony, to cultivate wholesome states, and not to get too attached to how the offering takes place. It doesn't happen here, but it does happen in the monastery I was at. I won't mention names. We have this lady who is an amazing flower arranger. So her job is to every week, on the major celebrations, she comes to brings very beautiful flowers. But she has some attachment because her flowers are so beautiful. She'll never allow anybody else to put any flowers on the shrine because it's not beautiful, Bhante. It's not balanced. I have two beautiful vases, and everybody else is like, the colors all messed up and it's mixed up. So she puts it to the side. So it's like, she's like, yeah, see, now the shrine is balanced, beautiful, which is true from her point of view. It's more beautiful if one person, kind of handles the flowers, and it's beautiful that way. But she should, but sometimes another perspective is to use her Dhamma eye, right? And to see that, yes, the flowers that other people bring may not be the most professional arranged. They just get it from, like a stand along the road or something. But it's still, those flowers are brought with love and faith and affection. So if you see your Dhamma eye, then you see, yes, the shrine is full of love the people bring to the monastery. It's beautiful in that way. And that's beautiful. It's beyond the physical beauty of whether, the vase is properly arranged or not. And it's just, so just keep that in mind that, we just use your super Dhamma eye, right? Your super psychic Dhamma eye to see things from a Dhamma perspective, that people come here with intention of giving together, of offering, that, offering some good to the monks, something good to the monastery. Whether it's objectively beautiful or not, it's beside the point. So, and that's, and I think that's my theory. That's why sometimes the monks' health are better than it is, because we usually don't eat the most healthy food. But it's better because I think the food that we get here, whether it's organically cooked or not, whether it's gluten-free or not, it's not so important. But because it's cooked with so much love, the metta, that you eat that, it makes you much more healthy than you normally would have been with all the grease stuff that we eat. And sometimes people go to these fancy restaurants, but they get those really pure ingredients, very organic and the highest quality. But the people that cooked it are full of stress. Then you're also eating that, I think. So, and sometimes I don't have the most refined tongue. Usually, I veer towards salty and too much spice. But sometimes I swear I can taste it in the coffee. Usually it's just coffee and soy. I'm like, oh, this coffee tastes really nice. And I'm thinking this person must put a lot of metta in that pot of coffee that day. So that's the most important ingredient when you come to the monastery, okay? It doesn't matter what you put in, the seasoning you put in, how well you chop the meat, what quality it is, okay? Just put a lot of metta in what you're doing. Put a lot of love, put a lot of, things. And you'll see it turn out well. And that's the most important thing. So we're not so, it's a monastery, a place that people can offer things in their own way. Yeah. So there's no objective way. That's, whether who has, the shrine needs to be in a certain way. It's no objective way, but the food has to be a certain way. Like I said, we're not strict vegetarian. We're not much of anything. We offer, whatever people offer is what we take. And as long as it's offered, from their own free will, offered from their love and faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and that is a priceless gift. That's something that we always will accept with gratitude and appreciation. Yeah. So it's about just cultivating wholesome states. Yeah. And about learning to work with each other, learning to let go of what our views are like, views and opinions. So as a monk, senior monk, I'm kind of expressing my appreciation for your gift of different ways of food and working in the monastery and helping for the monastery to thrive and continue into the future for the welfare and benefit of others. And it's great that you come to offer everything. But I'm also asking something more. I want you to offer me yourself, your views and opinions. It's quite hard to come by. Your ideas of what this should be done. Yeah, so try to offer that when you come to the monastery. Offer up myself. I'm going to offer myself, okay? I'm not going to worry about things going my way. I'm going to try to flow along with the group, work together in whatever ways we can, and hopefully in peace and harmony. And you'll say the more you give up to self, the views and opinions, the happier you come. You're not getting stuck with things. Things don't have to flow your way for you to be happy. You can be happy with whatever how things are coming together. And that's the beauty of the monastery, beauty of practice. As a place, not a physical place, it's a place, a meeting point for the lay community as well as the Sangha to come and to cultivate wholesomes. And that's the power of the Buddha. That's the power of truth. That's the power of the Dhamma, that it flows on and on and on. I know it gets boring, but yet, this is paradise here. This is an amazing opportunity, amazing blessing to be here in the bush and practicing, the Buddha's teaching so far away. Yeah, and we're generating, heaps of great karma for ourselves as well as for the community we live in. Yeah, and it's something not to be underestimated. Just to be able to bow to the Buddha, be able to come to a place that is value peace and stillness, kindness and generosity, and value wisdom. It's very rare. So I just want to, again, express my appreciation for everybody for coming. You are the monastery. Yeah. You are the who's and who's of what Buddha Dhamma. And yeah, we wouldn't be here without you. But likewise, it's a mutually beneficial relationship where hopefully we're cultivating wholesome states, helping each other in our path towards final liberation. Okay. อันธรรมยังโอวัตกถาสาธุกาลังคาถา